During the 80s, we were both pleased and honored to see some of the great players who ever played this game. From Ralph Sampson at Virginia to Hersey Hawkins at Bradley to David Robinson at Navy. Players with a true impact. But the best 5 we picked came from a long list. James Worthy, the best power forward on the college scene in 1982. An aggressive 6'9" rebounder and ball handler who combined both his strength and mobility to become a devastating offensive force. A high school All-American from Gastonia, North Carolina, he averaged 14.5 points and 7.4 rebounds per game throughout his college career. He passed up his final year of eligibility to become the top pick in the 1982 draft. Danny Manning, the man that scored 31 points and pulled down 18 rebounds against Oklahoma in winning the 1988 NCAA championship. He set many school records as a Jayhawk at Kansas. From 1985 through 88, the all-time leading scorer with almost 3,000 points. He's also the school's all-time leading rebounder and 6th all-time leading scorer in NCAA history. Danny was the 1988 Consensus College Basketball Player of the Year. The best true center to play the college game in the 80s, Ewing graduated in 1985 with a degree from Georgetown, as well as the all-time lead in rebounds and block shots and field goal percentage. He is Georgetown's 2nd all-time leading scorer, an Olympic gold medalist and player of the year. He was a dominant inside force and the #1 pick in the NBA draft by the New York Knicks. Isaiah led Indiana in assists, steals, and scoring while leading the Hoosiers to 21-8 and 26-9 records his 2 seasons at IU. Thomas missed only 1 game in 2 years. He capped his career by leading the Hoosiers to the 1981 NCAA championship. Jordan, even as a freshman, there was no question he would become one of the great players. In 1982, he helped his team go 32-2 and win the 1982 NCAA College Basketball Championship. He was voted Atlantic Coast Conference Rookie of the Year. He averaged 13.5 points per game and pulled down 149 rebounds in 34 contests. We'll be back with more of the 80s in college basketball in a moment. For every sports fan, there's probably one particular moment that rates as the greatest they've ever seen. The one we picked for the decade of the 80s occurred in the 1987 NCAA championship game, Indiana against Syracuse. On March 30th in New Orleans, Syracuse led favored Indiana by 3 points with 38 seconds left. With only 5 seconds remaining, Indiana took the lead on a baseline jumper by guard Keith Smart. Then Derek Coleman, Syracuse freshman forward, threw a floor-length inbound pass, only to have Smart intercept it and save Indiana's 74-73 victory. In the championship game, Smart scored 21 points, including Indiana's last 6 and 12 of its last 15. He was voted the most valuable player in the Final Four. The national title was the third for Indiana under Coach Bob Knight. Our pick for the greatest contest, 1982, North Carolina versus Georgetown. Dean Smith against John Thompson, two close friends. The 1976 U.S. Olympic team coach and his assistant facing each other for the championship. The game catapulted Michael Jordan to stardom. But most people will remember this one for its bizarre ending, when Georgetown's Freddie Brown thought he saw teammate Sleepy Floyd out of the corner of his eye. Instead, he had thrown the ball to North Carolina's James Worthy. The final, North Carolina 63, Georgetown 62. Our upset of the decade happened in 1982, Chaminade versus Virginia in Hawaii. Ralph Sampson and his teammates went into this game with all the confidence in the world. After all, they felt they were a Final Four team. They missed their wake-up call for this one and were handed one of sports' 3 all-time shockers. The final, Chaminade 77, Virginia 72. Virginia was one of the favored teams that never won the NCAA crown. But our pick for the best team never to win the NCAA championship was the 1983 Houston Cougars. Phi Slamma Jamma was loaded with talent. They had players like Clyde the Glide Drexler, Larry Mishaw, Akeem Olajuwon, Michael Young, and handling the point guard duties, Alvin Franklin. This 1983 ball club would end with a final record of 31-3 and lose the NCAA tournament to North Carolina State. We'll be back with more of the 80s in college basketball in a moment.